Hello, my name is Eusebia Kimde as Sangma, and I am currently pursuing Bachelor of Journalism and Mass Communication at Bennett University in Greater Noida. I am from Tura, Meghalaya, and I started writing poetry when I was about 15 to 16 years old, and the greatest influence in my life has been my mother, who is an English literature professor. So I hope you enjoy my poem. Shades of Love. Have you ever wondered what is the color of love? Is it red and pink? Colors always mentioned in the same breath? Or do you think it's black and blue? For love never comes without pain. Love could be green, like the unyielding love of nature. Or it could be the color of the sky just before the sun rises, purple and orange, as if threatening a certain doom. It could be the color yellow, for it reminds me of the rays of sunshine greeting me through my window without fail. Perhaps, maybe, love is the color white, like how I assume a mother's love would be, so calm and pure. All the colors culminated into one. Pain, sorrow, suffering, peace, happiness, and contentment, all rolled into one. Love.
Hey there, I'm Athulya and I have wrote a poem under the category of everyone. It's about today's love and how it is uncertain if love is good or bad. My poem is called A Dilemma and I hope that you enjoy it. A dilemma. All my emotions cluster when I think of the word love. It must be the only feeling that's combined of all the possible emotions in the world. Some say love is beautiful, some say it's scary. I say it's a beautiful dilemma. On one hand, it proves the existence of the humanity, on the other, it can cause the end of it. Some express the love through their beautiful arts, some prove it by destroying the mankind. Yes, love is a dilemma. It makes you feel secure, it gives you a reason to smile. It gives you a ray of hope, it gives you a reason to live your life. But also, it gives birth to insecurities, it's the reason you cry. It can make you despair, it might erase your will to be alive. Remember, love is a dilemma. It's a mother's unconditional care for her wean, who protects it from all the evil of the sphere. It's also the rage in that lover's eye which destroyed kingdoms for the love he was denied. It's the reason of your determination, it is the reason of your depression. It's the reason you preserve those old pictures, but it's also the reason you pluck that radiant flower. Love is a beautiful dilemma. Love is that big decorated cage with everything two birds need. You got your life secured and a life companion to meet. But you lack the freedom to fly over the mountains and the seas. Whereas, if you are freed, it's hard to say if you would find food, a partner, or if you would even live for a week. So, we all stay in this bubble of dilemma because our existence is acknowledged here and our lives have bigger reason to sustain. Love is a dilemma which no one can escape.
Hello everyone. My name is CG Akhila and I'm a research scholar at Maths University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. I'm an aspiring poet and writer and have a couple of published articles in some newspapers and digital platforms to my credit. I'm very glad to recite my poem today on AIFEST's YouTube channel, and I would like to thank AIFEST for organizing this poetry competition and giving all the literature lovers and budding poets and writers the opportunity and platform to present our creativity in front of the world. About poetry, I would like to say that both reading and writing poetry for me is like a therapy, a process of healing. Whenever I'm riding high on emotions and feel like I cannot express my plight or internal conflict to anyone, or when I am in an elated mood, poetry comes naturally to me. I keep reading a lot of classical and modern poetry, though the poetry of the Romantic age fascinates me the most. I crave and indulge heavily in poems written by Alexander Pope, John Donne, John Keats, Robert Frost, Maya Angelou, Sylvia Plath, Pablo Neruda, and one of the most contemporary poets, Rupi Kaur. But I am exploring many more poets as well. I can say that I have made a habit of reading and writing poetry as a way of life, and I am looking forward to continuing and strengthening my passion for poetry with each passing day. The poem which I will recite now is titled as Some Shades of Love Are Grey. The poem is based on my experience, observations, and reflections on one of the most neglected and accepted crimes against women and men as well to some extent, and that is domestic violence. Yes, it is a crime, one of the most gruesome crimes that can break the body and soul of any individual, but often neglected, accepted, and even supported by society's so-called patriarchal norms. Many times it is reported and dealt with. Still, most of the time it is believed to be disguised as love, and this is what inspired me to write my poem Some Shades of Love Are Grey. However, in the end, I have also questioned whether this kind of union can be called the marriage of love and harmony, where a partner is constantly violent yet claims to love the partner who is a victim. I often have seen and met many domestic violence victims in my life, some very close to me, some in my own family. Still, many have succumbed to this idea that one who brutally hits you equally loves you too. And he has every right to do so, as he is the owner of your body, he is superior as he is a man. And this notion, preserved for ages in our patriarchal society, instead questions and blames the woman, asking what she had done to invite such behavior from her man. So ideas and taboos surrounding the issue are many, but I am also glad to have met a few women who could break free despite the societal pressure to bow down to its patriarchal norms. And this poem is dedicated to all the fighters, victims, and survivors of domestic violence. So now I will recite my poem Some Shades of Love Are Grey. Though you were dead for me the moment you raised your hands, I still have kept you alive in me, in some bits, parts, and strands. Not as I love you anymore, but to keep reminding myself how brave I was not to endure the ordeal and to escape that glass shelf, where you would dump me back as a decorated doll, showcasing and pretending as everything is alright after ruthlessly inflicting injuries on my body and soul and thrashing me the whole previous night. I keep you alive to make me realize that how courageous was I to rebuild my life all over again, knitting its little broken pieces drenched in shades of pain. As all shades of love may not be pink or gay, some are sad and some shades of love are grey. Though I wonder, was it love at all, as you always insisted, and as they used to say? So, I hope you would have liked my poem. Thanks for your patient listening. Thank you.
Hello friends and researchers of English literature. I am Christal Ferrao. Thank you to all judges for selecting my poem for the A grade category and publication as part of the anthology. Thank you All India Forum of English students, scholars and trainers for all the work you do to promote English literature. I am a writer and researcher from Goa. I am an alumnus of Don Bosco Higher Secondary School, Goa, Christ University, Bengaluru, and Symbiosis International University, Pune. I have an independent anthology titled It Is Like Magic, published in 2016. I write and share poems via Facebook and Instagram as Crystal Clear Creation. I have a blog, Crystal Clear Vision, on WordPress for opinion and feature writing. My favorite poets are John Keats, Emily Dickinson, Kamala Das and Ted Hughes. I will be presenting a poem titled Painful Pandemic. It is about the experiences during COVID-19 and the lessons to learn. Painful pandemic. They said the world has progressed. It has advanced so far. But suddenly something seeped through that left everyone confused. It seemed all bizarre. At a time people planned to move to places worldwide. Suddenly they were forced to be homebound and stay socially distant inside. Yet amidst this sudden, silent and healthy home life, there was an unexplained chaos, as if there would be a stifling strife. And so many questions to follow. This made a broken system so visible, since healthcare and economy were termed miserable. But there were many lessons to learn amidst this fight. It could be visible only if you view things with a mind open to learn and vision so bright. It told us we are all one and together. Suffering is common and our immunity is weak, irrespective of our land, deity or color. We should strive to work together for the common good of humanity. Unity and not division is the best remedy to avert and deal with any tragedy. We need to help one another to grow and not isolate to increase despair, or else development will never happen or be slow. A young doctor will help and keep you healthy, while the janitor will ensure your place is clean. A small artist and poet will keep you alive through performance and poetry. You need goodwill for survival, so don't let money make you mean. Tragedy, behold. Tragedy, be told. Yet the painful pandemic has several lessons for our mind to hold. To stop all our selfish behavior and avoid our greed. It is an invitation to be messengers of peace and charity and nurture generosity and humility to succeed. Despising rules and breaking them was seen as normal in the past. But a sudden virulent virus told us to slow down and follow them if we wanted our long life to last. We understood that happiness is not something that is achieved, something that we ought to find. It is a feeling from within, even in isolation, by being simple and kind and healing our troubled mind. The painful pandemic has many things to tell. We have several lessons to learn. It is up to us now to choose to grow or just isolate in despair and burn. Thank you.
Namaskar. This is Debasmita Keshari. I am from Puri, Odisha. I have completed my MA and MPhil at Sri Autonomous College, Puri, now working as a lecturer. I hope you all are doing good in this corona pandemic. The whole world is fighting. So stay home, stay safe. Today I am here to present my poetry on shades of love. Shades of love. Once you were my sunshine, my dusk done, fog and rain. As forever comes never, I was left alone in the pen. Forgot about love, lust and lost. Loved persistently like amaranthine. But I was shattered into pieces, become maimed, cracking my own spine. Then I stifled a cry alone, new on new tunes of love. How you showed me out of your life to the hail and dead hello. Your inclination, insinuation could not calculate the warmth and depth of my love. What I considered to be the shade of love is actually a crater, perhaps my grave. Still feeling confined and captivated by your heart. My eyes still yearn for a glimpse of you. There is no love, yet love is there. Is this the real love? Is this the real shade that lasts forever and ever? So, what is the solution? I have to lose myself to make myself win. To light up the darkness which I discover. Now, no need to fret, my dear, because I know everything is fair in love and war.
Thank you, AIFEST, and thank you all of you.
Hello everyone, I'm Deepa Sehrawat, a research scholar of English literature in the Department of English and Modern European Languages at Banasthali, Vidyapith, Rajasthan. I'm going to recite the poem Survival in Corona, which I wrote during lockdown in the month of October 2020. I have been writing poetry since 2012. I began poetry writing with romantic poetry after passing out my 12th, but my interest and subject matter turned to vernacular social issues since I've enrolled in PhD. This poem, Survival in Corona, is also an after effect of being the first hand witness of the traumas that were prevailing in India in the initial stage. That is when Corona just entered India and we got in the face of lockdown. So here goes my poem, Survival in Corona. It entered and then we shut. Not early, not late. But now, rapid is the rate. Why? Prayers are important. Meetings are irresistible. Loneliness is the cause. I say, hunger is the culprit. People stayed home for a day and few, but unemployment, lack of savings, future concerning security, the battle to survive, compel them to move out. Not everyone, but some homeless, when faced scarcity of food, moved out of their booth to look for food. And the blessed fear contamination. Dears, the battle is survival. Hunger will kill them first. They're still unaware about Corona. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Madhurima Chakraborty. I'm a research scholar in Annamalai University, but originally I'm from West Bengal, Durgapur. When someone asks me, why poetry? The first thing that comes to my mind is that poetry to me is not just about the rhythm and joy it provides, but it is a vent out of the emotions that plays within. When I see chaos all around and I have no one to tell or be heard, poetry comes to my rescue. Such was the time when the fear of the unknown, that is COVID-19, was at its peak, somewhere around March, April. All of us, almost all of us, incurred loss to some extent. But the people who suffered the most were the migrant laborers, the working class who earned their living on daily basis, the poor mob. The huge crisis they faced, the huge crisis they went through is unimaginable to us because we can never be completely in their shoes. We can just have an idea of what they might be going through. When the entire city was under lockdown and they had no way to earn their living, but they had stomachs to feed waiting at their home. Such is the pain they went through. Such is the situation that made me think, or let's say rethink, about the notion of the Almighty being the pacifier of all pain, the giver, the well-wisher, the ultimate power who can tame any kind of demon, be it the pandemic. Here the Almighty got transformed into the victim of powerlessness, the victim of helplessness, just like those poor mob. Here the line between the victor and the victim got blurred to me. Such was the time when I wrote the poem, which is a glimpse of the everyday suffering that those people went through. Therefore, the title of my poem is The Victor and the Victim. Her hands started trembling. Her fingers turned red. She stopped in the middle, cowing her head. Her sack had grains and her bag had herbs. She would carry more, but her strength curbs. The sun blazed on top against her will. She had miles to walk and mustered her zeal and walked. She walked and stalled and talked to herself. Few more. She knew her few was a mile and a mile was a meal. The city will stay closed for the crowd to heal. Her son is longing her return, fetching food is a prime concern. So she walked and stalled and talked to thee. Yes, the Almighty, the helpless me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Maitri Patel and I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and I'm doing BCom in JGCC and pursuing CA. I wrote this poem addressing to all those people who give up while pursuing during their ambitions. I would like to say that never give up I know there were so many hurdles, ups and downs, and the people are against you, but be confident, have some faith, and believe in yourself. As there was one quote, every painful story and have a successful ending, so believe in yourself. So let's start with my poem, which is written by me, evolving myself during pandemic. So everyone is busy online, but I am busy with my work offline. Everyone doing the rest, but I recreate myself and doing the best. Everyone feel nostalgic by playing the games, but I feel lonely by doing the same. So for all, it's just a typical phase of pandemic, but for me, failure of my academic too. Everyone treats my failure as I'm doing the crime, but I said it's just a fine. Everyone felt refreshed, but I felt depressed because it's a very dark time for me to handle myself from the failure and pandemic too. So for all, it's just a typical phase of pandemic, but for me, failure of my academic too. This is such a phrase where I find my shadow and hidden talents too. So for all, it's a worst time, but for me, it's a worth time. Everyone feels like a hero, but I lose my confidence in myself and feel like a zero. Everyone show off themselves that their life is hate, but I was alone and sad. Everyone wastes their time like a bean, but I utilize time like one day I can win. So for all, it's just a typical phase of pandemic, but for me, failure of my academic too. This is a phase not easy for me. I worked every day to improve myself than yesterday. Failure is just a phase like a pandemic which pass one day. So I have to make efforts to flip into the success. Everyone spend time with their dear ones, but I alone find myself real ones. Everyone looks so sassy, but my life became so messy. It's such a cruel period. I locked myself in a room and work so hard so I can wear the crown of the success. So for all, it's just a typical phase of pandemic, but for me, failure of my academic too. Thank you to everyone.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Maria Alejandra Fumaroni. I am from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I teach English as a global language and I love poetry. Since I was a child, I really like poetry, but it wasn't until the beginning of this year that I started learning how to write poetry. My poem, It Could Be the Right Place, is a Malaysian poem based of Malaysian oral poetry and relates the situation that changed my life in a significant way. And when I remember that event, I ask myself many questions. What is poetry for me? It's the voice of my soul that allow me to express my feelings, my thoughts, and relieve my spirit. I hope you enjoy my recitation. It could be the right place. Life is always welcome. A new bird almost appeared. Cold but not humid. Nobody at home, only we three. It had lunch before. Not far away from here. Delicious, new tasting, smelling, laughing. Memories. Cold but not humid. Nobody at home, only we three. Full of happiness is nothing compared with that. Delicious, new tasting, smelling, laughing, memories. Something we did to celebrate. Sometimes fear comes to us and knock on the door. Full of happiness is nothing compared with that. Don't push the door, go away. Something we did to celebrate. Sometimes fear comes to us and knock on the door. It could be the right place, but it couldn't. Don't push the door. go away. I would be more than happy that everything happened there. At least it started there. It could be the right place, but it couldn't. Change didn't appear. The mood flipped all day long. I would be more than happy that everything happened there. At least it started there. Sunshine over the moon, sunset. Who knows? Change didn't appear. The mood flipped all day long. If I had planted my road beside you, many paths to be walked are there waiting anxiously for us. It's had lunch before, not far away from here. Hold my hand and look at both sides. Life is always welcome. A new bird has almost appeared. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I am Nisarga C from MMK SDM Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Mysore, Karnataka. Now I am going to recite the poem in the third category of AIFEST poetry competition. The topic is the pandemic. The year 2020, people suffered plenty. The year 2020, people suffered plenty. It's the year of pandemic and known to be historic. Mask, social distancing and sanitizer made people even more wiser. Mask, social distancing and sanitizer made people even more wiser. All were forced to stay at home and not allowed to freely roam. Some foods taken for immunity stop spreading virus in community. Some foods taken for immunity stop spreading virus in community, increases body's activity. This is corona's cruelty. Vaccines are yet to be found. We should wait without a sound. Vaccines are yet to be found. We should wait without a sound. I think we will have vaccine by next year so that we can come out without fear. Thank you. I chose this topic, the pandemic, in the poetry competition because this is the present scenario going on in the world. Composing a poem on this topic would enhance the awareness among the people about COVID-19. I hope you all liked my poem. Thank you.
The pandemic. When a lion chases us, we will open the cages up. When a leopard circles us, we will shoot our bullets up. When an elephant herd is frightened, we would trigger the anesthetic needles. When armies gather and attack, we will touch our nuclear buttons. We had split the atoms to bomb and had shown our infantry strength. To keep a virus at bay, we are struggling every day. To keep a virus at bay, we are striving day to day. Oh, my ministers of the nation, you are squabbling for your portfolios. Now decide among yourselves who is the minister of virus. Laws and acts are passed, but spread of pandemic isn't past. No one to trust anymore until the virus kills itself. We will adhere to social distance to prevent the social spread. We would cohere to self-quarantine and stop the social speed.
Hi guys, this is Dr. Prakruti, practicing dentist and currently residing in Davangere, Karnataka. This is my first ever attempt to write a poem. The topics were the pandemic and shades of love. But I feel love and compassion can win over any pandemic, don't you think? Well, I hope you guys enjoy my poem and have a look. I know I could not be yours, for if I could have, peace would have resided in heart of ours. Nevertheless, as I see you now, my hands get lifted and how, praying for your eternal happiness, although there'll always be some emptiness. Whoever shall enter in your life as your newly wedded wife shall love you a little more than I did, fight little less than we did, stand by you in all odds and against all odds, because she's sent to you from the gods. When your heart will become full with love from her, my empty heart will reach out to you in a whisper. As love may not always end when apart, it will always bloom for you in my heart. So I pray your life blossoms without any thorn of my incomplete love, but with lots and lots of unconditional love.